The Bill Stent imposter is about to arrive because Bill's not here, but he did send me his slide presentation. So you have to put up with me doing Bill Stent, the telescope gent. And I thought I'd get in costume as well. I'm taking a cue from Ken's. And I got a Bill hat because you can't do Bill Stent telescope gent without a Bill hat. Bill's actually sunning it up down at Phillip Island at the moment, commissioning a telescope. So this won't be anywhere near as good as Bill's, but we'll do what we can, eh? Oh. Do I have to share it or will it share it automatically? It's getting there, isn't it? You got it in presentation mode? About to now. He's now in presentation. Here we go. I can't do a Bill voice, sorry, but this is Mark Stent, the telescope gents, what's in the sky for late October and early November 2024. And as Bill would say, we are on the lands of the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people, the Woiwurrung peoples of the Kulin Nation. General sky conditions at this time of the year, they've been pretty good lately, haven't they? Pretty good. Well, we've got 4 clear nights in a row this week. So the conditions have actually been improving as opposed to the last, 9 months of horrible cloudy weather. Colin knows what I'm talking about. We've had to give a few tours in pouring rain. What's in the sky? So we're going to go through what's in the sky. We're going to go through things to look at for this month. Now, general conditions. Welcome to Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That was fun, wasn't it? We all lost an hour's sleep on Sunday morning, and I went to bed at 4 o'clock, which means I went to bed at 5 o'clock. That hurt. To adjust your go-to hand controller, you do not need to change the time zone. Just set the daylight savings setting to yes. That's important. That is very, very important. And Handbox will figure the rest. You know what I didn't do on Sunday night and last night? Set the hand controller to daylight savings, yes. And I was wondering why it wasn't polar aligning last night. Now I know. What's he actually? He's got an actually. Evening maps will be 10 p.m. from now on. Morning maps still 5 a.m. You know, he's given me no notes other than give me the slideshow. So sunset about 7:32 p.m. Dark from 8:30 next month, 8:04 p.m. Sunrise will be at 6:44 a.m. and dark until 5:45 a.m. and next month 6 a.m. So even though it's getting darker later, it's getting lighter later. So for young astronomers, we're going to talk about what is a comet, why does it get a tail, and are there really 2 tails? Why do we make jokes about daylight savings? Can it, slip back. Can it fade curtains? I don't know what I'm doing there. We'll go back. We've missed it. Sorry, we're jumping forward now. This month's moon, first quarter is on Friday the 11th, which is 2 days from now. So is it going to be clear at Melbourne Observatory on Friday, Colin? I think it is. Yeah, it looks like it's possibly going to be clear. And if it is, Colin will have the moon up in the first quarter for Members' Night. So rises at noon, sets at midnight, and the waxing, then following the week is the waxing gibbous, crosses to the north on the 16th, so it'll be low in the sky for the next fortnight. The perigee is on the 17th, and the full moon is on Thursday, the 17th of October. It is a supermoon because we are close to perigee and rises at sunset and sets at sunrise. Poor viewing due to direct sunlight. View all night now and over the following week in the morning as a waning gibbous. My messenger's going off. People are messaging me who are watching this and probably laughing. Last quarter is on the 24th of October, which leads nicely into Sea Lake Astrofest. Rises at midnight, sets at noon, and then over the following week as a waning crescent, it gets thinner and harder to see as it approaches the sun. View in the morning, then later this week in the early afternoon. And it crosses to the south on the 29th, so it'll start to get high in the sky from Melbourne. The apogee is on the 30th, and the new moon on Thursday, the 3rd of November, just in time for the long weekend for everybody to go away and do 3 or 4 or 5 nights of astronomy under dark skies. Close to apogee, so it's a mini moon, and it's close to eclipse matching declinations, but not quite. I remember Bill talking about this last month. It rises at sunrise, sets at sunset with the sun, which is, again, good for us. Waxing crescent is very thin, but able to see in a few days at sunset. Look west. And the first quarter is on Saturday, the 9th of November. Bill, he loves his lunar X. When is it? He's visible this month on Sunday the 9th, actually the 8th, okay, 11:49 p.m. on the 8th, if you can stay up that late on a Saturday night. Crosses to the north on the 12th. The planets over the next month. This is from the ASV yearbook, courtesy of Jim Katsofolis. Thank you, Jim. Mercury is an evening object now in the west, rising out of the twilight late October. Next greatest elongation is mid-November. Venus is very bright still. It is extremely bright. We were looking at that through the scopes at Melbourne Observatory on Monday night with our attendees, and they were loving it. Is an evening object that sets at 10:15 p.m. I will say it's very hard to find through trees just as it's setting. Mars is finally moving now, rising at 2:45 a.m. It'll continue rising earlier, giving us more observing time and moving to retrograde in December. And all our lunar and planetary guys will be happy about that, give them something else to image. Jupiter rises ahead of Mars at 12:40. It'll be consistently early until opposition in early December. Retrograde starts yesterday, the 9th of October. So it'll brighten noticeably. And Saturn rises well before sunset, still in retrograde. Rings are closing. He's got there March 2025. I've been using Bill's date of March 2025 when we do our tours, so if he's wrong, that's embarrassing. In great position now for evening viewing, a premier object for observatory tours, and it is. They have been loving looking at Saturn lately. Uranus rises late in the evening ahead of Jupiter, setting after sunrise, so good morning viewing. Opposition is in mid-November. I'm going to try and image that with the sea star. I'll give that one a go. Neptune rises before sunset, an overnight object setting before sunrise. We're after opposition, and it's following Saturn. And Pluto, why is Pluto on here? It's not even a planet anymore. Rising about 1 p.m, sets about 3:45 a.m. Good evening object if you can find it. If any of you can find it through a small telescope, you've got Superman's vision. Good evening object if you can find it. Yet retrograde starts on Saturday, the 12th of October. That's this Saturday. So it'll be especially slow as it stops and reverses. That's another one I've seen some people do with the Sea Star. Again, I'm talking about robotic telescopes, and I've seen some people do that over a few nights. That's one I might give a try over this coming weekend, actually, see if we can get it. I'd love to do it with my phone as well, actually. That'd be pretty cool too. Getting orientated. Sky at 10 p.m. facing south. I've never seen the clock in the sky. Okay, so we've got the Southern Cross at about 4:30 on the clock, low in the south-southwest. Whoop, oh, there, that's better. Now no one can see me, that's even better. Scorpius is near the moon, moving west, but still no Orion, not unless you're a night owl like me and you're up until 5 a.m. Orientation of stars, a curving line from south-southeast to north-northwest. That's actually pretty cool. I've never noticed that, and now I'm going to go looking for it. Thank you, Bill. Canopus is low in the south-southeast. Achernar is high in the southeast. Fomalhaut is slightly east of the zenith. Donut warning. Do we know what the donut warning is? Yeah. Yeah, Dobson's hole. Altair is halfway from the zenith to the northwest location, and Vega is very low in the northwest, maybe in the trees. For most of us, it probably would be. Antares in Scorpius is lowish in the west. Scorpius season is nearly past. I did manage to get a few more hours on Eagle though, so I was very happy with that. Saturn is highish, slightly north of east, but don't orient yourself with a planet. Oh, Bill's visual targets for the evening, sky at 10 p.m. Venus, so he's got naked eye, binoculars, small telescope, setting at 8:15 in the southwest. Albiro, double star, he does love his double stars. Small telescope, high magnification telescope. I know he gets that one up in the Troughton and Sims a lot. The coat hanger asterism. What's he got here? Binoculars and a small telescope. Wild duck cluster. Binoculars and a small telescope. Yeah, I'm not going to say that because I'll get it wrong. Binoculars, small telescope, and naked eye. Saturn. George Swab, what an image, George. Thank you for letting Bill use that image. It's probably the first time George is finding that out. But it is a nice image, that one. Small telescope and high magnification telescope. Eridani, the cat's eyes. We were looking at this the other night. This is a good one too. Small telescope and high magnification telescope. And Beta Tucanae, which is already got a small telescope and high magnification. And Eridani, Akamar double, another one with small telescope and high magnification telescope, and a small Magellanic Cloud, naked eye, binoculars, large aperture telescope, and a small telescope with 47 Tucanae, which is a beautiful object. NGC 362, that other glob near the small Magellanic Cloud, which is always a fun one to trick people and say that it's 47 Tuc when it's not. Mesarthum is a double star, a small telescope and high magnification as well. And I think he's got some images. And Marie with the Triangulum Galaxy, Veil Nebula from Rick Zhang, Helix Nebula, Sculptor Galaxy with NGC 288. That's a nice framing, that is. Nice framing, Bill. We've got NGC 1365 and the Fornax cluster from Russell, another one of Russell's amazing images. And 47 Tuc and the small Magellanic Cloud from Jeff Healy, and some astrophotography that Bill does not know that I snuck into his slideshow. Sky at 5 a.m. facing south. Note, it's not all that different from last month. Welcome to Daylight Savings. Southern Cross at about 8:30 from the South Celestial Pole. I saw that rising in my time-lapse from this last night. It was quite interesting to see it rising over Melbourne from Coburg. That was cool. Orion is approaching the meridian. Planets are starting to spread out. We have Saturn starting to set. Neptune also starting to set. Uranus not far from the Pleiades. Jupiter is approaching the meridian, and Mars is starting to move. It's a great opportunity to check out the crosses in the area. There's a lot of crosses there. We've got the Southern Cross, the False Cross, and the Diamond Cross in there. But wait, what about Comet? Comet Tushinson Atlas. It's been great over the past couple of weeks, but then went in front of the sun. I was lucky enough to see it from the top of Mount Buller at 5 a.m. Thank you, David Rolfe, for making me get out of bed. It was well worth it. It really was. Just about to emerge now, about the 11th. If you're clever, it'll remain an evening object from now. Look slightly north or west of west and just after sunset. It will continue to move up and right, easier to see, fading over the next couple of weeks, harder to see. Consult your planetarium app. This shot is 16th of October at 8:10. Use the altitude of Venus as a road sign. You're still going to need to be pretty high to see this. Sorry, one of my shots slipped in there again, Bill. That's from the top of Mount Buller. All that light pollution there is Mount Buller, with nobody at Mount Buller because snow season is finished. So for a very, very small town with a population of 0 over the summer months, that's not good. Not good at all. But that's a nice shot of the comet. That's a beautiful comet, that one. It's very nice. But wait, what about T Corona Borealis? Bill needs to go to Corona Borealis Anonymous. He's slightly obsessed with this thing. We spent a long time watching it, doing nothing. No, Bill, you spent a long time watching it and putting us through it. Looks like the sun will get in the way before it goes off, but the light curve is trending down again, not an indication of anything. You see his light curve going there nicely. Perhaps we'll get to see it go off after all. Bill's bet is not. Final notes and random observations. The 12th of October, Pluto moves into retrograde. The astrologers will go nuts. On the 15th of October, Moon and Saturn are close to conjunction at 4 a.m. About the 12th of October, Tenson Atlas will become visible in the evenings. He's got his dates wrong there. He should have put that one in front of the 15th. Amateur Bill. 28th of October, perihelion of sun-grazer comet C24S1 Atlas. Will it survive? That's a good question. I've heard some people talking about that. 5th of November, US election, the genesis of much of astronomy was astrology and prognostication. I think that could decide whether we see anything after the 5th of November or not, depending upon who wins, eh? And the 8th of November, Lunar X at 12:49 UT or 11:49 AEDT, lowish west. Sources, Stellarium, Sky Safari, you can all read those. Thank you for joining Mark Stent, the telescope gent. I better not leave the hat behind.